Hello my loves and welcome to my channel. My name is Jade Shinu and I help people reclaim back their power physically, mentally and spiritually. Now today I'm going to be exposing the dark side of astrology, tarot and crystals. So disclaimer before I get into the video, I have nothing against any of these tools. But there are some certain red flags within each one that I think is very important to point out and let people know. Especially if you are on, the beginning of your path, you're just starting out in spirituality, etc. There are some very important things that need to be said. Otherwise, they can quite literally ruin your life, especially tarot and astrology. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first danger, so the first red flag about these things is people can become too reliant on them. So instead of taking responsibility and accountability for their everyday actions and their choices that you do every single day, they will just always resort to tarot cards or astrology or pick a card readings, etc. So it can become very disempowering. It basically takes all your power away and you completely forget a very important fact that within this matrix, you do create your reality to a certain extent. But it's so important that you are accountable because you have free will, okay? And we live in a matrix that there is multiple different timelines. So every choice you make every single day will have an effect. So if you are always obsessive about tarot cards and pick a card readings or psychics or going to mediums, etc. for answers, you will never develop your intuition. You will never become the master of yourself. And you are always more powerful than any of these tools. So nothing is more powerful than your own energy. And a very important thing to note is when you do a tarot reading, when you have, a psychic read your energy, they are basically mirroring your current energy. So that brings me to the second red flag, that is you can create a self-fulfilling prophecy in the negative way. So, for example, what this means is if you go to a tarot reader or a psychic or whatever, and they give you a really negative reading, if you don't understand how this matrix works, you will take that as absolute truth. And the very problematic thing there is you will then create that reality for yourself because you do create things on what you believe subconsciously. So if you are obsessive and basically giving away all your power and have complete faith in the very negative reading, then you 100% create that for yourself. You'll create chaos in your life. And this is very important to note that there is multiple different timelines that your consciousness shifts in and out of. So there is multiple different timelines that you will experience and can experience based on your frequency, based on your vibration. So there is no such thing as one future. Time is not linear. So if you go to one tarot reader and they say that, this is your absolute future, that you're going to do this, this and that, or have these problems or whatever, then of course that will happen for you if you believe it and stay in that current energy, that current low vibration that you are on. So the truth is there is multiple futures. There is a future out there where you'll experience good things, and there is a future out there where you can experience really dark things. There is limitless parallel universes, limitless parallel timelines. So it's quite deep and difficult to fully grasp. The best example that I can think of that may help you understand this is actually the Men in Black movie. I think it's number 3, but there was a character in there who explains this, and he experiences different timelines all the time, and then he'll be like, oh god, this is this timeline, and then they'll experience a certain timeline or different timelines, etc. So there is a collective script that goes on within your own life and the universe and earth. So your consciousness is like always shifting between different parallel universes. So some people may experience a really dark reality because their vibration is very, very low, and they do things that lower their frequency. Whereas other people, even though you're on the same earth, your experience will be not as bad. Your experience will be far more positive, far more peaceful, less chaotic, because your life, your frequency is in a much higher vibration, because you do things that don't lower your frequency. This is why it's so important to live a high vibrational lifestyle, so you don't attract negativity and darkness towards you. And so you have a more peaceful, orderly life and a less chaotic life. And that's a whole other video. And if you want to learn how to raise your frequency, I have done an older video on that, so please check that out. So please bear in mind that no future is set in stone. And this is why with my card readings, because I do card readings, I always keep it as present as possible. I literally give practical advice on what that person needs to hear right now in the present time. I don't believe in doing future predictions, because the future is always changeable. So it's vital to know this. Otherwise, if you believe a really negative card reading, that will ruin your life. And the same goes for astrology, because with astrology, it's very similar. So many people, instead of listening to their intuition and really evolving their consciousness to a Christ consciousness, to a highly evolved consciousness where it's now merged with your higher self, they result to only reading about their current avatar's astrology, because your soul is not got a link to astrology. Your higher self is not of that. Only the body is, only the avatar is, because your soul is timeless, it's limitless. It's had multiple different lifetimes. So your soul would have had many lifetimes with many different zodiac signs, with many different astrology, natal charts, etc. So it's very important to remember that. And again, I'm not discrediting astrology. I see that it can be a very good tool for when you need a bit of guidance or you feel a bit lost, but do not become overly obsessed with it and feel like, oh, you know, and then allow it to rule your life. Because you can become above that. You can actually break the script, because your avatar and astrology is like a backdrop script, if that makes sense. So it's something that will just play out if you don't evolve your consciousness and then start controlling your life, because you actually have the power to do that. And this is what many astrologers just don't realize, or they don't want to teach you, because they make a lot of money from it, of course. And it's very easy to like kind of use astrology to create a business out of, as there's always something that they can research or look towards and not use much of their own intuition. So again, this is a very important thing to understand. And also realize that with astrology, it's very, you know, it depends a lot on the person's perspective of it. It depends a lot on what they believe themselves. So their energy will be controlling you. It will be controlling your life, basically, what they perceive that you are and what you need to do, etc. So there are many different types of astrology. You kind of contradict one another at times. So they're not really set in absolute truth, if that makes sense. So just take it with a pinch of salt is basically the bottom line. You know, I'm not saying like planets definitely have strong energies, etc. Like the moon is incredible. You know, eclipses, etc. Like it is beneficial to do certain things on certain moon phases and, you know, planet alignments, etc. and placements, but don't get too obsessive. Like I don't give a shit what my natal chart says. Like I just live my life. Be present. Like when you become above all that, you just learn to be present, because you know about placebo and nocebo effects. Because you can create so much. You are beyond powerful. And most people kind of fear that power, because they realize, oh my God, like how much shadow work is needed so you don't create so much darkness subconsciously. And you have to let go of your ego. And that's another red flag with astrology and tarot, etc. serves mainly people's ego. So it's very dependent on the reader that you get or the channel that you watch, etc. Because so many people kind of abuse and exploit astrology and tarot. They don't really teach it, use it in a sacred way, in a sacred manner. You know, tarot is thousands of years old. It's far older than what people realize. But it's, you know, a very feminine, powerful goddess energy to it. It's very different to what people think it is. So you have to really bear in mind that it's not a good idea to get a tarot reading from someone who is on a low vibration, who has a very big ego, who is indulging in things that don't serve them, that serve their lower nature, and basically just live a low vibrational lifestyle. Like, you want to get absolute clear, high vibrational advice when you do any of these tools. When you do any sort of divination, they can be manipulated, okay? And there's two ways that they can be negatively manipulated. And that is from negative energy from the reader coming through onto it, because they just have a low vibrational frequency because of their lifestyle. It's kind of similar to Reiki. If you watch my Reiki videos, a similar sort of thing. Because if you are doing divination and giving readings to other people, you need to be a profoundly clear channel. You have to have such a clear channel. And that means that you need to be responsible and accountable for your actions every single day. But so many people just do it because it's trendy or gothic or, you know, witchy. They don't really treat it in a sacred way. They don't treat it how it should be treated. And it is a very risky thing that needs to be used with caution, because you can mess up people's lives if you don't take responsibility with it. And it's a very, you know, difficult thing for people who are new to the path, you know, to really understand. If you haven't had an ego death, you should not be touching tarot cards. Be very careful of that. And this is why you see so many like people who are ex-tarot card readers, because they realize that they were being manipulated by demonic energies, that a real darkness was getting through the cards, etc. And this is because they weren't living a high vibrational lifestyle. They were not protecting themselves. If you do not pray to God and angels and guides and spirits of pure love and light every time you do a card reading, you should not be doing card readings. Like, you have to have a very pure, detached energy, okay? But unfortunately, a lot of people do it for egotistical reasons, or just for money, and exploit people. So be very, very careful who you get readings from. The next red flag, this is to do with crystals. And again, it's the same thing. Crystals need to be viewed purely as tools. No crystal is more powerful than you. Your energy will always be way more powerful than a crystal. So a crystal will have an imprint of energy. They are genuine, they are real, but you have to treat them with respect. You have to treat them from a neutral space. And again, you can't use them or view them as like a quick fix. They're not just going to cure your anxiety. They're not going to cure your depression. Like, they will never fix your whole entire life, okay? It's complete BS. And again, people only do this and try to sell you every single crystal on the market because they make money. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So use common sense, use logic, and realize that people do make businesses out of this. They will exploit them just to get loads of money. And unfortunately, you know, the earth needs its crystals. So it's not good or, you know, ethical even to be digging up loads and loads and loads of crystals from the earth itself, just to, like, you know, so people can use and wear all the time. Like, of course, I have crystals in my house and I have a few that I wear, etc. But I'm not obsessive with it. I won't go out and just buy every single crystal and, you know, feel like, oh, I have to use my crystal for this, and that. You don't need a crystal for every single problem in your life, okay? Your free will, your daily choices, your frequency is what will change your life, okay? Not a crystal, not a crystal, because you have to take accountability. So this is like the whole theme of this video, really, is making people know that you are the one that has to change your life, not a crystal, not astrology, and not tarot. Another red flag I see, especially with pick a card channels, and this is why I didn't want to do my own pick a card channel, is people become very addicted to them. They just want to be told what to do because, you know, it doesn't develop people's intuition. It doesn't actually give people the right tools, the right keys to really empower themselves physically, mentally, and spiritually. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it takes many years, and not many people want to hear the truth. Not many people want to hear that you have to live a moral life. You have to open your heart. You have to forgive your enemies. You have to eat a high vibrational diet. Like, you have to do these things because they are the things that are more powerful than anything, because energy doesn't lie. And you have to embrace like really high vibrational things within your life. And that takes a lot of willpower. That takes a lot of strength and discipline. So nothing comes easy in this life. There is no quick fixes. There is no, you know, no matter how people try to sell it to you or anything, like, you are the one, you've come here to master yourself. So just use these things as tools. Be very detached for them. Don't worship the planets as gods. Don't worship crystals as gods. Learn to connect to high vibrational beings, because that is what will truly change your life. That is what will truly help you, guide you, okay? And I know it works because it works for me, and it's supremely powerful when you really learn how to cultivate true intuition and true guidance from higher entities, from God, from source. So please be careful with tarot and psychics and mediums, etc. Know that you can change your future if you choose to, by all means. And if you are interested in having a one-to-one guidance session with me, so a reading where I will give you practical spiritual guidance, not just tell you some fluff or, you know, a fake future, then I will leave that in the description box below. Lots and lots of love to everyone who does do readings. You know, I have high respect for you. I know it's not easy, but just know that you do have a responsibility. Your words and actions can have profound effects on people's subconscious minds and their creative abilities and their whole entire life. So please do not take that lightly. I do also have a free third eye ebook. So it's called the Third Eye Detox. That will be also in the description box below. So there'll be one link to all my services and ebooks. This ebook will tell you the truth of how to actually open your third eye and how to develop your consciousness, how to develop your intuition, so you won't have to rely so much on cards and, you know, mediums and psychics, etc. So much love, much light to you. Ahimsa.